Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Bengt. Welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to be talking about what to do when you don't know what to do. And I kind of want to hopefully just alleviate some of the pressure that you might be feeling about making decisions in life and feeling like you're completely lost and completely, on track but off track at the same time, just confused about your destination and maybe suffering from like analysis paralysis. And there's so many options and there's so many things that we can do. And there's always new things, new temptations. If you go on the internet today, you can discover like a new business model or a new life path or career path pretty much every single day. So like, what do we do when we're in this position where obviously most people, they want to make the right choice for themselves. And most people also want to put themselves in the best position possible. I think that it's important for people to filter the criteria that's important to them. And when you're looking at other opportunities and things like that, you need to figure out what's important to you. So for me or for someone else, maybe making money is important. For a different set of people, maybe their fulfillment or their level of feeling like they're giving back to a community or participating in like a bigger mission is important. Or for some people, maybe some freedom is appreciated, or, the ability to work or travel and do other things, not necessarily from one location, but to be kind of free to move around and be a little bit of a nomad about their lives. So depending on like who you are and what you value, I think that you can use that as a filter to kind of narrow down what opportunities might be good for you. But before we get into that too, I want to just like go over and run through the fact that there's like an overwhelming amount of things and decisions that have to be made. And, I think pretty much from like junior to senior year in high school, if you're in the United States, basically the only conversation that we're having with adults from that point on is like, what's your plan? What are you doing after school? And a lot of people don't have it figured out. And society puts this incredible amount of pressure on you to have things figured out and to know what you're doing. And one thing that I've definitely realized, I'm about to turn 26, and I've met and talked to enough people in different careers and industries and, of different levels of success, most of which are far beyond where I am in my life. But one thing that's pretty clear is that like nobody really has it figured out. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that are good at pretending, and everybody likes to pretend like they have their shit together. But the reality is like, there's not a lot of difference between you and the people that you look up to, as far as, the fact that they're also human and have things going on in their lives and challenges and complications and decisions that need to be made. And they're not perfect either. And they don't have shit figured out either. So, it's very easy to go on the internet and see all of these people that talk a lot of game and talk like they have shit figured out. And the reality is that they don't. And I think that, for a lot of people, finding the thing that they want to do, whether it be a career or, for school, for their life path, kind of, it's difficult because, we've spent 12 years, probably more than that, if you've gone through like the typical school system in the United States, right? Like we've spent 12 years or so basically sitting in a box, being force-fed material and curriculum that we didn't necessarily choose. And we've been given very little time to explore ourselves and our personal interests. Maybe we got to play sports. Maybe we joined a couple clubs. Maybe at the end of our 12 years of school, we had enough credits to choose some electives or some extra classes that were remotely interesting to us, like outside of the general sciences, maths, history, reading, writing, stuff like that. So it's like, here we are with basically given no opportunities to really take time to explore ourselves and our interests or develop any meaningful like skills and things like that. And yet at the same time, we're asked to make a decision to commit to potentially for life some sort of path or career or idea or a plan or something like that. And so if you're watching this and you're 17, 18, or if you're a little younger than that and maybe just getting ready to graduate high school and move on into the real world, dude, it's a tough situation to be in, but I wouldn't, it's easy for me to say, don't be stressed out, but trust me, I've been in those shoes and it is very stressful and it is hard to, have a good answer and not be like tripping in your own head when all these people are asking you this thing basically all the time. What's your plan? What's your plan? What are you doing? But just know and maybe find solace and comfort in the fact that there's full-blown adults, people that are 20, 30, 40 years old that still are asked that question relatively frequently and don't have a good answer either. So, don't let societal pressures make you feel like you're behind or like you're losing or like you need to figure something out and, rush or jump into something that's just seems like the right thing to do. People always fall to the trap of they say the thing that they know people want them to say. They do the things that people know they want them to do. And it's just like, why would you do that? Like I don't think people understand the impact that has when you do things or say things simply because you think it's the right thing to do. Not the right thing to do like morally, but it's what the other person or group of people or society wants you to do. You fall into the mold, so to speak. You fall into like political correctness. You fall into the norm. And if that's not who you are, you have to realize that by falling into that mold, you're falling out of alignment with your true self. And operating from a place of authenticity will dramatically impact how you feel about everything else that's going on in your life. I can tell you from personal experience that when I was pursuing the things that felt most genuinely aligned to myself and my true goals and my genuine interests, life felt so much more fulfilling. And I also felt very motivated and I felt like I had power and spirit and like more of a divine connection to the things that I was doing. And I felt very much invested in. So there was sort of a spiritual safety knowing that I was doing the things that I wanted to do. And as I've grown older, there's other things that have come up in life that for one reason or another, it's like I've made decisions to prioritize financial gain, or I've made decisions to prioritize a certain level of professionalism or validity to just businesses and other things and ventures that I've gone on. And it's strange because I look at it now and it's like a lot of those things, like the things that I've pursued that were not necessarily aligned with my most authentic self, I struggled with those businesses, with those ventures, with those things that I was pursuing. And it felt like there was constant resistance. Like the things that I've pursued that were meaningful and I think were more in alignment with myself, there was very little resistance. It felt like opportunities and things naturally were kind of coming and flowing in my direction versus dealing with things that are very much out of alignment with myself and my true nature. It's like a constant uphill battle. It feels like you're just grinding, pushing against a brick wall. So maybe that's something that you can consider when you're trying to choose a career path or something that feels like it's something that you want to do or try or experiment. is, first of all, does it align with yourself and your true self, your authentic self? And when you make efforts to advance down that path, does it feel like you have guidance and assistance and like things are moving smoothly? And to be clear, there's going to be challenges with any career, any business, or any path in life. But I guess maybe it's your perceived difficulty of those challenges. If your motivation, if your desire to achieve the outcome is greater than your perception of the fear of failing or the fear of not being able to get over an obstacle, then I guess maybe it seems like you're able to more gently cruise through some of those roadblocks. But I think that if you're trying to pursue something that's out of alignment with your true self, when those roadblocks and when those things appear, they seem far more daunting and far more significant. And they propose much more of a challenge because now you have to face that challenge, but also face the mental challenge of, dealing and confronting something that is, you're fighting the challenge itself, but then you're fighting the challenge within your head of like, why am I doing this? Or like, why do I have to go through this? If you're pursuing something that's authentic to you, the challenges feel like just an opportunity to overcome the thing and get to the next level because you're committed already to the destination. If you're trying to operate and do something that's out of alignment with your true self, when you face obstacles, a lot of times you have to reconvince yourself why you're doing this thing in the first place to justify the challenge or the difficulty of getting through that roadblock. And I think that's something that can definitely be recognized just off of like gut instinct or feeling. And you'll know when you're in kind of the right lane, so to speak. Well, one last thing I kind of want to touch on in this video is the fact that social media and the internet has become kind of this echo chamber. And you have to be very, very careful when you're online and everybody appears to be doing better than you. And also because there's a million and one ways to polish a turd, so to speak. And depending on who you consume on the internet, pretty much anybody is capable of making any business look any level of successful. And a lot of times make it look very tantalizing and like a great opportunity when in reality it might not be for you. And it's unfortunate, but the way the world is right now, it's like if you're not rich, you're broke. And if you're broke, you're not cool and you're fucking useless. And I think that's extremely detrimental to like the mental health and the direction that society goes in, especially for like the youth. If you go online and all you're seeing is YouTube videos with thumbnails and people talking about how this business model made me $100,000 a month and how I got rich by the age of 17 years old. It's like, bro, first of all, a lot of that shit is completely bullshit. There's a lot of people that have done those things, and I certainly don't want to discredit those of them who have. There are a lot of ways to hustle, and there is a lot of opportunities that the internet has afforded to generate obscene amounts of money for people, and what skill level they have and what age they are is kind of irrelevant when it comes to the Internet of Things. So again, not to just sound like a fucking hater or someone that's here to shit on those people. I'm not saying that at all. The only thing that I'm trying to do is protect the mental health of the people that want to do something with their lives, but they fall victim to the fact that the only thing they see on the internet is people preaching one business model or another. And so that they fall into the trap of thinking that those are the only ways that you can make money or provide value or be fulfilled or have a career that's meaningful to you in this world. Like if money is the only measurement of success, then, you're very unlikely to find the thing that will actually generate it for you. So I want to be clear that like, bro, because like I work in kind of the online space as well. And so when I open my YouTube, my feed is all like, I could scroll 3 or 4 videos in a row of how I made this much in a month with this business, how this generated XYZ amount of dollars. It's all like, here's how much money I made. Here's how much money I made. It's almost like it's getting thrown in your face, man. And yeah, it's just like those types of videos get clicks. And so it creates this like echo chamber. And it gets to the point where people realize like that's just the formula to get views. So you start to see it everywhere. And when you start to see it everywhere, now you just feel like, bro, everyone's making all this fucking money. What about me? Like, God, I must be a fucking loser. I must suck. But that's not the reality of things, man. There's a lot of things that you're capable of. There's a lot of things that you're probably talented at. There's a lot of things that are going on inside your brain that are valuable that might not just be realized yet. And you need to take steps to realize that potential for yourself. But don't let all of these fucking gurus and don't let all these people on the internet that are making videos posting about how much money they make you think that money is the only thing that makes you valuable. And I feel like maybe I've hit on this point enough to like kind of get what I was trying to say across. Maybe I worded it clearly enough. Maybe I didn't. But I think that generally speaking, it's important to realize that like, there's so much opportunity out there, and don't necessarily be fooled by all the people that claim they're making certain amounts of money by doing a certain thing. And again, to kind of relink this back to the first kind of topic was find something that feels authentic to you. And I promise you that if money is something that you value, then pursuing that thing will probably net you far better results. And I think that as we move forward, there's probably like a handful, maybe 10 or 12 niches or business models that seem to just have a lot of popularity in like the get money online, YouTube, whatever space. And I think that it's important to recognize that like there is a thing called supply and demand, right? So I think that moving forward, there's going to be a lot of really great opportunities that aren't on the internet, some of them. And some of them might be, but it's going to be in spaces outside of the ones that are being talked about. The businesses like social media marketing, drop shipping, e-commerce, Amazon FBA, Section 8 rentals, all this stuff that's online, bro. Like you see it everywhere, and you know all the things that I'm talking about already. They're in your YouTube. You've been blown up by ads. Like if you think about it, there's a lot of people that are trying those things right now because they seem like a great opportunity. But when a huge migration and when a huge herd of people moves over to like these couple spaces, that leaves so much gap and so much opportunity in other areas that aren't being focused on just because there aren't people online selling this business model over here yet. So I want to encourage you, and honestly, if you take nothing away from this video, just remember these 2 things. For one, have enough self-awareness to know when you're operating within something that's authentic to you and something that's not, and pursue the things that feel more authentic for you. You'll have an easier time doing it. The second thing is, just because there isn't someone selling a course or talking about it on YouTube, how much money they've made, doesn't mean that it's not a good opportunity. And the world is a big place. The market is a huge place. There are plenty of problems to be solved, and there are plenty of ways to solve those problems. So be creative and don't feel like the only paths available to you are ones that you've seen people on YouTube talking about how they made $1 million doing it. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you found some value in that. If you did, I'd appreciate it if you like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. We'll be back with more videos soon. As always, guys, stay strong. Stay blessed. stay dangerous, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right. Peace.